The New England Patriots just sent a message that nobody saw coming. One preseason win might not decide a season, but when you score 48 points and dominate from the opening kick, it forces the league to take notice. This was not just a scoreboard story, it was the first real glimpse of how a Mike Vrabel team looks in full gear. Fast, disciplined, and relentless. Every snap felt like it had a purpose, and every player looked like they were fighting for something bigger than a roster spot. The question now is whether this was a one-night spark or the start of something that could shift the AFC picture. From the first whistle, it was clear the Patriots weren't treating this like a throwaway August game. The pace was sharp, the execution was clean, and the energy on the sideline matched the scoreboard. Vrabel promised effort and finish, and that's exactly what showed up. Running backs were lowering shoulders instead of stepping out of bounds, blockers were driving defenders into the turf long after the play was past them, and special teams flipped momentum in seconds. It was the kind of performance that makes you wonder if this roster is already buying into a new standard. The more you looked, the more you could see the identity taking shape right in front of you. But the most telling part of this win isn't the final score, it's who stood out in the chaos. Certain players didn't just play well, they grabbed the spotlight and refused to give it back. They didn't just make big plays, they made statements. And if these early flashes hold up, they could change how the depth chart looks by week 1. So let's break down exactly who rose above the rest and why their performances might be shaping the Patriots' offensive game plan right now. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Patriots and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. TreVeyon Henderson needed only seconds to flip the entire tone of the game. On his very first touch as a Patriot in a preseason setting, the rookie exploded through the coverage unit, turned on a gear few can match, and went the distance for a 100-yard kick return touchdown. That burst wasn't a one-off highlight either. Later, he slipped into the backfield, took a crack toss, and sliced through defenders for an 18-yard gain. Add in a clean catch for 9 yards and solid pass protection in his limited snaps. And it was the kind of debut that makes coaches rethink the depth chart. Henderson didn't just show speed, he showed the all-around game that can keep a defense guessing. Right alongside him, another rookie made sure the spotlight wasn't one-sided. Efton Chisholm turned in the kind of night that pushes a roster conversation forward in a hurry. 6 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown tell one story, but the way he got them tells another. He was fearless in traffic, quick out of his breaks, and strong enough to finish plays after contact. One of his biggest gains came on a tunnel screen where he let his block set before accelerating through a crease. Even in practice, he has been stacking moments, including a leaping red zone grab over Marcus Jones. Performances like this make it hard for a coaching staff to think about sending him back to the sideline early. Then there is Kyle Williams, whose stat line didn't capture how often he created separation. Multiple times he gained a step on his defender, only for the throw to miss the mark. His routes were sharp, his release was crisp, and the opportunities he generated downfield were too consistent to ignore. For a passing attack looking to stretch the field, having a receiver who can win at the line and threaten vertically is a valuable weapon. The question now is whether the timing between Williams and his quarterbacks can catch up to the space he's creating, because if it does, defenses will have another problem to solve. DJ James stepped into the kind of opportunity that can define a rookie's path in the NFL. With Christian Gonzalez sidelined, the cornerback found himself matching up against first-team looks, and he didn't waste the moment. His interception came from reading both the quarterback's eyes and the receiver's body language, breaking on the ball before the pass even reached its target. That awareness, combined with his ability to stay in phase on deeper routes, gave the secondary a lift. In a game where depth was being tested, for a defense built on discipline and reaction speed, James looked like he belonged. Carlton Davis made his return count, rejoining full 11 on 11 work after a stretch away and immediately impacting the perimeter. His physical approach and coverage was on display with a clean pass breakup, and his willingness to step into run support gave the defense an edge on the outside. Across the secondary, others seized their moments as well. Marcus Jones broke up a pass in tight coverage, Alex Austin handled nickel duties with a steady hand, and rookie safety Craig Woodson worked alongside Jabril Peppers and Jalen Hawkins on first-team reps. That rotation wasn't just filling space, it was showing the range of alignments this staff can trust. Up front, Truman Jones showed why his name is climbing within the building. His activity in both run defense and pass rush situations stood out, keeping himself in the play even when the initial lane closed. Clavon Chasen marked his return by notching a credited sack, while Harold Landry's presence continued to set the edge with authority. Christian Barmore remained on a controlled workload but still brought interior disruption when called upon. Robert Spillane kept the defense organized, moving pieces into place before the snap. Together, these efforts reflected exactly what Vrabel wants: a unit that can adjust quickly, swarm to the ball, and keep the pressure constant from start to finish. The tone on special teams was set early and never faded. Antonio Gibson's 62-yard return immediately flipped field position and had the sideline erupting. Coverage units matched that energy, flying downfield with urgency and cutting off return lanes before they could develop. Javon Baker's work as a gunner was a clear example, as he closed in on returners and finished plays with sound tackling form. It was the kind of commitment in the third phase that can swing tight games, and in this case, it helped keep the Patriots in control of momentum all night. The kicking competition added its own layer of intrigue. John Parker Romo drilled a 57-yard field goal with the kind of confidence that leaves no doubt, and he has yet to show a sign of backing off in practice. On the other side, Andreas Borregales kept his case strong, going 3 for 4 in a session where consistency has been his calling card. For a team that values reliable points in any weather, having two kickers performing at a high level creates a challenge the staff will have to solve before the season begins. What makes the decision harder is that neither has shown an obvious weakness under pressure. Romo's range forces defenses to respect scoring chances from well beyond midfield, while Borregales has proven steady in situations where every point matters. It is rare for a roster to carry two kickers into the regular season, yet cutting one while they are both this sharp comes with its own risk. As joint practices approach, every attempt in front of coaches and teammates could tilt the balance in a battle that is far from settled. Will Campbell and Jared Wilson faced a demanding first test as a rookie left tackle and rookie left guard tandem. Their athletic ability stood out on several runs, especially when pulling to lead plays that opened clean lanes for backs to explode through. Both showed the aggression to finish blocks and the awareness to work in tandem on short yardage conversions. Still, there was a learning moment on a twist from Washington's front where communication broke down, a reminder that even promising starts require sharper recognition against disguised pressure. Offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels revealed plenty about his current confidence level in the protection. The passing plan leaned on quick throws, keeping the ball in Drake Maye's hands for barely more than 2 seconds on average and limiting deeper dropbacks. This approach kept the quarterback clean but also pointed to a desire to avoid exposing the tackles to extended one-on-one situations. Running backs were often tasked with chipping edge rushers before releasing, giving extra help that hinted at an understanding of where this line is strongest right now. The tackle competition is still taking shape. Marcus Bryant logged valuable snaps at both right and left tackle, showcasing flexibility that could be crucial as the season unfolds. Morgan Moses continues his ramp up toward full availability, while Demontre Jacobs remains part of the depth equation. All of it points to a unit that is still settling into its identity, with a clear priority on building trust and protection. How they handle upcoming looks from an aggressive Minnesota defense will reveal if McDaniels can open up more of the passing playbook before Week 1. Drake Maye enters the most critical stretch of his preseason, with a checklist that could shape his role once the regular season begins. Decision-making, ball security, and pre-snap reads will be under the microscope, especially after a mixed showing in red zone work. One poor turnover made it clear that progress is still needed. Joint sessions with the Vikings offer a chance to reset, build rhythm, and prove that he can handle complex defensive looks without forcing risky plays. Up front, the Patriots' offensive line will be tested by Brian Flores' pressure-heavy scheme. The ability of rookies Will Campbell and Jared Wilson to handle stunts and blitz pickups without extra help will determine how much McDaniels can expand the passing game. On the defensive front, keeping Clavon Chaisson and Harold Landry fresh while monitoring Christian Barmore's workload will be key in building a complete rotation. With so many position battles and depth chart questions hanging in the balance, which player do you think will make the biggest statement before the Raiders game?